it's a feminist anthem in some respects, the way she sings it, because she sings this like a woman that knows that she's, as the old gals used to say, sitting on a gold mine. So it's not like she really is pressed for this dude, even though it seems like he's pressed for her. What's going on, everybody? You're right on time for another ride on the Groove Line with your host, Chris Stevens. Hopefully you all are doing well out there. It's Friday, should be doing well, and it's Philly Friday. And we've got another cover to discuss from a Philly artist from another band. And this is a band with a sort of funny backstory as to how they got their name. And it was one of their biggest hits. And this Philly songstress covered it and really, did a great job of it. So thank you guys for tuning in. Greatly appreciate y'all as always. Glad you're here. We've experienced a lot of growth, and thank you guys for, coming on board with your feedback, your comments. Again, I do this 2-3 times a week. And so if you guys, subscribe to have that notification bell, you'll know when a new episode drops and we can talk about it. All right. So today we're going back once again. This is another 1975 piece. So we're going to celebrate this golden anniversary until we can, until December 31st, 2025. So 1975, again, I still say that was a huge year in not just the 70s, of course, but music period, because there was a huge line of demarcation with respect to how the music was sounding as 75 began and as 75 ended. And there's a group from the UK called 10cc, and this is one of their biggest hits called I'm Not in Love. It's written by members Eric Stewart and Graham Goldman, and it was basically written by Stewart because his wife was like, you don't love me. I don't think you love me as much as you should. And he's like, well, maybe I don't. Maybe I'm not in love. That's kind of cold, man. That's really cold. But it turned out to be one of their biggest hits. And apparently the group, first of all, one member said they got the name because they saw themselves in a dream as being up on the billboard as 10cc, the biggest band in the world. Another story by Graham Goldman that just came out this year, he said that, well, we found out that the average male, spurts forward, shall we say, at 9cc. But since there was one more of us, we'll just call ourselves 10cc. Now, I don't know which version to believe or which version you people believe, but I find that to be a very kind of story. But hey, it's their story to tell. This is a judgment-free zone. I digress. Anyway, the 10cc version of I'm Not in Love, it's kind of haunting in some respects. It's very, because the band itself is, doing their own background vocals. It's kind of like echoed in the back. And it's not like your typical power ballad. Like, it feels very airy and spacey, kind of like, kind of like, lo-fi. It's kind of like lo-fi jazz hop in some respects. And Not in Love, their version, the original version of Not in Love is just like basically saying, I should call you, but then again, I would like to see you, but then again, it don't mean you mean that much to me. And it's kind of like a cold way to break up with somebody or tell them, you're the side piece, or you just only occupy this much space in my life. It's a cold-blooded song, to be quite honest with you. But people were telling the truth in them records back then. Not to say that people aren't telling truth in the records now, but people were really brutally truthful in the records way back then. So their version did very well. And the version that I prefer, that is one of my favorites, was done by this lovely lady, Miss Dee Dee Sharp, who, if you don't know, is one of the original teen idols. Like, there's no cap in that rap. Dee Dee Sharp came out with Mashed Potato Time in 1962, and she was 16 years old. And so she was one of those first teen idols that you would see on like American Bandstand or whatever other, music show was back then. I think American Bandstand was honestly the only one that was national, but then she would probably go on like local shows in different areas and things of that nature. But yeah, so she had a decent career, and then she met Kenny Gamble, and they became romantically involved. And for a long time, she didn't put out a studio album. It was just like she would release singles every now and then on Gamble Records, which was Kenny's first label, then Neptune, which was his second with Leon Huff, and then of course Philadelphia International. Yeah, see, Kenny and Leon had like so many cracks at a record label. Third time was the charm for Philly International. But her first studio album in over a decade was Happy About the Whole Thing, and that was released in 1975. There's another great cover on here that I'm probably going to give a whole episode to another time. You Philly folks out there, you probably already know what I'm talking about. But her version of I'm Not in Love, for one, the Fender Rhodes part by Ron Have Mercy Kersey, like it just grabs you in the beginning. And you know, Larry Washington on the congas, Charles Collins on drums, Michael Sugar Bear Foreman's bass. Michael Sugar Bear Foreman is probably one of the most underrated bassists that people don't talk about, even though he was kind of like the guy who took over for Norman Harris and actually Ronnie Baker. Pardon me, Norman Harris was the guitarist. Ronnie Baker played bass. So yes, so when the Baker Harrison Young triumvirate started, a mutiny at Philadelphia International, Charles Collins and Sugar Bear Foreman and those guys came on and formed a new version of MFSB. But Dee Dee Sharp's version of I'm Not in Love, it sounds like it's a feminist anthem in some respects, the way she sings it, because she sings this like a woman that knows that she's, as the old gals used to say, sitting on a gold mine. So it's not like she really is pressed for this dude, even though it seems like he's pressed for her. The way she sings it, I'd like to see you, but then again, that doesn't mean you mean that much to me. Like she's like telling him, like, so if I call you, don't make a fuss. Don't go and tell your friends about the two of us. It's like basically saying, you come when I call you. Pretty much. And that version of the song, I mean, it's just perfectly arranged. Honestly, the arrangement, I get a lot of Music of My Mind Stevie from that arrangement of it, with the Fender Rhodes, the drums and the congas. And then you have your background singers, the Sweethearts of Sigma, Carla Benson, Yvette Benton, and the late Barbara Ingram, and Herb Johnson, a gentleman named Herb Johnson, joined them on the backgrounds for this. And it flows seamlessly. Like you can't realize that it's a cover until you listen to them back to back. Like listen to the 10cc version first, and then you listen to the Dee Dee Sharp version, or you can do it vice versa. It really doesn't matter. No matter what order you put them in, it's like, wow, this is a cover. This sounds very original. Credit to the MFSB folks and Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff for arranging that thing the way, and Bobby Martin the way that thing needed to be arranged. It's a great cover. And Dee Dee Sharp had a couple of those. I mean, she covered another 10cc song later in her career, I Really Like to See You Tonight. That was on the What Color Is Love album. But there's another, again, I'm going to save that cover for another Philly Friday. Might be next Philly Friday. You never know. But just listening to those back to back, you get two different songs. You get a dude who is fed up with his woman complaining about not being appreciated, which is kind of weird because if you married her, I would think you would appreciate her at some point. Just saying. And then you hear Dee Dee Sharp's version, and this is a woman of the era. This is a woman who can get a bank account in her own name, a credit card in her own name. She can co-sign for a house or a car in her own name. She don't need no man, except for one thing. And he's starting to get feelings, even though they are doing this one thing pretty regularly. I have experience in that area. Trust me. You guys really need to sign up for my Patreon when I start telling my stories about my dating and romance adventures. You guys, the Patreon is in the description below. But yes, that's why I speak with so much, knowledge and emphasis about this song, because I have lived it. I've been the guy that Dee Dee Sharp is talking to. And I think a lot of guys out there can relate to that, even though they may not be, they'll probably be too proud to admit it. Because there's always, every straight man who has had some modicum of success with women has been the emergency bing in the glass. It happens. And this sounds like a version of a woman who says, you are my emergency in the glass. I will break that glass when I need it. Other than that, you on the shelf, pal. You in that case. You'll be okay. So that is the pretty much overall my sentiments on the song. If you guys feel differently about this version, feel free to leave your comments in the description. In the comments below. Let me know what you think. Which version do you like better? Do you like the 10cc version? If you're a man, you probably prefer that version. If you're a woman, you probably prefer the Dee Dee Sharp version. Or it could be a mix. It doesn't matter. Let me know what you think. And that's going to do it for this ride on the Groove Line. Greatly appreciate y'all as always. Contact information will be in the description below. I have a PayPal if you guys feel like donating. Same for Cash App. Thinking about starting a Venmo too. And a GoFundMe if you guys want to help me, get some extra coins in while I'm still doing my day job and doing this and making this more solvent. I'm not afraid to ask for help, basically. So if you guys want to help me out, you're more than welcome to do so. So thank you guys for riding with me on the Groove Line. And until the next time we ride, y'all have a great weekend, and may you find the groove, or may the groove find you.